Good evening. Welcome to the July 7th, 2025 meeting of the Stillwater City Council. This time I will call this meeting to order, and I'll ask that you all stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, councilors, we'll jump in at item 3, the consent docket. Questions, comments, items to remove, or action?
Motion to approve consent docket.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent docket. Please vote. Consent docket is approved with a vote of 4-0. That takes us to item 6 on the agenda, resolutions. 6A is resolution number CC-2025-12, which is a mirror in the SUA that we'll get to, SUA 2025-3. A resolution amending the terms and conditions of service for municipal utilities by amending Section 1, General Information, Chapter 2, General Policies, by amending Section 1.2.5, Denial of Service, adding Section 1.2.11, Unified Bill, adding Section 1.2.12, Identity Theft Protection, amending Section 1, General Information, Chapter 3, Special Programs by amending Section 1.3.3, Utility Assistance Program, amending Section 2, Policy Manual for Utility Accounts, Billing and Collection, Chapter 4, Fraudulent Use of Utility Services by adding Section 2.4.7, Deceased Account Holder, and by amending Section 3, Definitions. Ms. Carnley.
Yes, so staff has requested updates to the utility terms and conditions of service to ensure that they are up to date. A red line copy of all changes is attached to the agenda packet and available online. If approved, the updated terms and conditions will be posted to the website. So new sections were added to address unified billing, identity theft protection, and deceased account holders. Revisions were also made to the Utility Assistance Program section to clarify that the city enters into an agreement with the Utility Assistance Program Administrator to administer that program. The hours of operation were updated to reflect current City Hall hours and holidays. Dana Maddox, Utility Billing and Services Director, is here if there are additional questions.
Councilors, any questions? It all seemed fairly straightforward updates to me. All right, is there action on the resolution?
Motion to adopt resolution number CC-2025-12.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, that resolution is adopted. Item B is resolution CC-2025-13, a resolution of the Stillwater City Council approving the submission of an application for fiscal year 2025 Airport Improvement Program discretionary funds administered by the Federal Aviation Administration for airport infrastructure improvements at Stillwater Regional Airport and approving the associated budget amendments for required sponsor match.
So this resolution addresses FAA grant funding in support of procurement and installation of a passenger boarding bridge and baggage conveyor in connection with Stillwater Regional Airport new terminal and improvements project. The estimated total cost of the project is $1,313,542. The anticipated cost share is FAA fiscal year 25 AIP discretionary grant funds in an amount of $1,244,408. The local sponsor match at 5% is $69,134. Approval of the resolution approves submission of the grant application for fiscal year 25 AIP discretionary grant funds in a not to exceed amount of $1,244,408. Approves attached budget amendments to appropriate the required sponsor match, and authorizes the mayor or the vice mayor to sign any necessary documents to secure funding for that purpose. Airport Director Kelly Reed is here if you have any questions, and some of the project team.
Councilors, questions about the resolution? Always happy to ask the FAA for more money, correct?
Especially for this, what an exciting opportunity for our airport, a baggage claim and a more
jet bridge.
airside for jet bridge, yes.
All right, action on the resolution?
Motion to approve resolution number CC-2025-13.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution. Please vote. Resolution is adopted with a vote of 4-0. Item C is Resolution CC-2025-14, a resolution of the Stillwater City Council approving the submission of an application for fiscal year 2025 airport infrastructure grant funds administered by the Federal Aviation Administration for airport infrastructure improvements at Stillwater Regional Airport and confirming appropriation of the sponsor match.
So this resolution addresses FAA grant funding in support of procurement and installation of furniture, fixtures, and equipment, also known as FF&E, in connection with Stillwater Regional Airport New Terminal and Improvements Project. The estimated total cost of this project is $769,471. The anticipated cost share is FAA fiscal year 25 Airport Infrastructure Grant, also known as AIG grant funds, in an amount of $719,840. A local sponsor match at 5% is $37,886. Approval of this resolution approves submission of the grant application for FAA fiscal year 25 AIG grant funds in an amount not to exceed $719,840. It confirms appropriation of the required matching sponsor match and authorizes mayor or vice mayor to sign any necessary documents to secure funding for that purpose. And again, airport staff is here if you have additional questions.
Questions?
Yeah, I do have just a question. Just bring this up with a timeline on where we stand on our project out there.
Sure thing, absolutely. Thank you, Councilor Harden. So the terminal is a little bit beyond 30% construction. The passenger boarding bridge and the furniture, fixture, and equipment get us get the ball rolling on the next phases, so that by the time we get to building completion, we can begin those additional interior and exterior improvements.
So I know we're encumbering money this year, this fiscal year. Will this be spent this year? Will it actually be carried over to next year potentially?
These are fiscal year 25 funds, and because of the timing with the FAA, they're becoming available right now. So they will be spent in the next few months into next year.
Okay,
but they are
thanks.
fiscal year 25, not 26.
Thank you.
Do we know the timing on hearing on grant award?
We know that the funds are available, so we expect it within the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Anything further? Thanks, Kelly. Will there be action on the ordinance, or excuse me, on the resolution?
Motion to adopt resolution number CC-2025-14.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the ordinance. Excuse me, adopt the resolution. Please vote. Resolution is adopted with a vote of 4-0. I'm trying to jump ahead on the agenda here. I'm too fast. Item 6D, resolution number CC-2025-15, a resolution of the Stillwater City Council authorizing the waiver of Stillwater Fire Department bills for rural fire services provided in response to the March 14th, 2025 wildfire disaster.
So this resolution addresses waiver of rural fire bills that may be applicable in connection with the March 14th wildfire disaster. The Stillwater Fire Department incurred approximately $75,000 in billable fees for equipment and personnel in responding to the wildfires. In recognition of the hardship faced by property owners who were impacted and to support disaster recovery efforts, this resolution would approve waiving any applicable rural fire bills to assist in timely recovery and rebuilding efforts, which serves a public purpose. The resolution outlines that the waiver is limited to Stillwater Fire Department services provided in response to the March 14th wildfires. It applies to any affected property owner, and it directs the city manager and the finance director to implement the resolution immediately. City Manager Brady Moore is here if you have additional questions.
Councilors.
I think as we watch our community recover from the March 14th wildfires, this is a really important opportunity for the city to step in and provide some relief. I know there's so many in our community that are providing that on personal levels or through their donations to the United Way. We have FEMA here and SBA, but it's quite clear as you talk to families and people out in the community that have been impacted by these wildfires that the unmet needs in our community are still quite large. And I think this is a great gesture for us as a city to provide.
Mm-hmm. Do we even have any sense of what the magnitude of the fees we'd be waiving would be?
Yes, I believe it's in detail.
It's in the
74.
Yeah, approximately $75,000 in billable.
Have those been allocated out? Like, do we know who would get bills? Because I just,
Yes,
picturing the response.
I believe
it was
somebody
just
from
sort
the
of
fire department is
everybody-
here to answer those specific questions.
I mean, I'm just curious, because I know it's,
Yeah, we do have some of that detail.
pretty much everybody was out responding, and trying to figure out who gets to pay for what would be kind of difficult, I would think.
Correct. Yes, Mayor, we do have a document that documents all of the incident reports that would have been billable, and that is included in the $75,000.
Do you know approximately how many property owners would benefit from the waiver?
That was 24.
24. Okay.
24.
24 incidents, yes.
That seems low, but
So that was people that were in our fire district, but outside the city limits.
That is correct, yes, yes. And even though there are 24 there was 89 total responses during that period from March 14th to March 19th, but only 24 of them were billable.
okay.
Many of the responses were to check, hot spots, and no service was provided.
Okay, understood. Okay,
Okay,
thanks, Chief.
thank you.
All right, further questions, comments, or action on the resolution?
Motion to adopt resolution number CC-2025-15.
Second?
A motion and a second to adopt the resolution, please vote. That resolution is adopted with a vote of 4-0. All right, now we'll move down to item 7, ordinances. On first read, we have ordinance 3574, an ordinance amending the Stillwater City Code by amending Chapter 16, Crimes, Miscellaneous Offenses and Provisions, by repealing Article 7, Smoking, in its entirety, and creating and adopting Chapter 16, Crimes and Miscellaneous Offenses and Provisions, Article 7, Use of Tobacco Products and Vapor Products in Certain Places Prohibited, Section 16-170, Definitions, Section 16-171, Prohibited Conduct, Section 16-172, Required Signs, Section 16-173, Penalties and Enforcement, repealing all ordinances to the contrary and providing for statutory construction and severability. Ms. Carnley?
So this ordinance does repeal the city's current smoking article in its entirety for the purpose of replacing it with a new article that is titled Use of Tobacco Products and Vapor Products in Certain Places Prohibited. So this new article will update the city code to meet current state laws. It also includes required provisions to ensure that the city can meet all TSET eligibility criteria, which ensures that the city can apply for grant funding opportunities that are offered through that Tobacco Settlement Endowment Trust.
Can you summarize the general effect or difference it might have for someone in the city who?
I would be happy to. It outlines where the use of tobacco products and vapor products in public is prohibited in the first section, which includes municipal property, indoor and outdoor, including parks and recreational areas. It also...
which is all currently in the ordinance.
Yes. And it also... A lot of this, when my staff first attempted this rewrite, we did it traditionally with the strike through and underline, but it was not readable.
Sure.
You couldn't tell it was being changed, so that's why we did the entire repeal and replace. It also adds some provisions that have to do with ash receptacles or ashtrays in areas where smoking is prohibited. It doesn't allow that. Also, it prohibits a person from disposing of smoking tobacco products or vapor products within an area where it's prohibited. It also prohibits retaliation against people or entities that seek to attain compliance with this article. It has signage requirements, which we did have currently in the ordinance. This TSET model ordinance has some size requirements that aren't in the current ordinance. So, for example, outdoor area signs shall be weather resistant, at least 15 by 15 inches in size, lettering of at least 1 inch, and clearly state that smoking or tobacco use is prohibited or that a tobacco-free environment is provided. So staff does have some to-dos after this ordinance goes into effect, but I know the city manager's staff is on top of that. The penalties and enforcement, it also just delegates that to any peace officer or code enforcement officers may enforce this article. The fine did not change. It was a minimum fine of not less than $10 nor more than $100. It also just clarifies that in addition to other remedies provided by this article, that Anything related to tobacco product or vapor product use may be remedied by the city attorney, including but not limited to administrative or judicial nuisance abatement proceedings, criminal code enforcement proceedings, or suits for injunctive relief. The definitions were updated to include a definition for indoor area and outdoor area. Those just include municipally owned areas, even if they're in the name of a public trust where the city is the beneficiary. It updates the definition of tobacco product and vapor product. Those mirror state law definitions. And it just clarifies that the statutory construction is that the intent of this is to supplement applicable state law and federal law and not to duplicate or contradict such law. And then the standard severability provision is there just if any time and a provision of this ordinance is considered invalid, it can be severable from the other provisions in the ordinance.
So for a smoker in town, this doesn't sound like it's going to change what their normal, what the rules were ahead of time, really, just some clarification, some additional language that.
That's correct.
But if you haven't been able to smoke somewhere, you're still not going to be able to smoke there. It's not adding anywhere to our non-smoking list generally.
That's correct. In fact, it actually kind of restates it more simply. It just basically says that if it's prohibited by Oklahoma state law, it's prohibited.
Okay. Further questions?
So this does indeed get us able to go ahead and start applying for TSET grants now, correct?
It's my understanding we have followed in anytime you apply for a TSET grant, there's a guidance materials, and it includes a municipal ordinance checklist. We have checked all the boxes, and we've used the provisions provided by TSET that they call the TSET model ordinance.
Cool.
So this should ensure that the city is eligible to apply for any grant funds that we are otherwise eligible for, depending on the project.
Let's start applying.
We are ready.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's significant dollars in there. I know when we were looking at some of the reworking at Strickland Park, there were significant dollars available through TSET. So some of our parks and recreation facilities could really benefit from TSET dollars. So.
Yep. Further questions, comments, or action on the ordinance?
Motion to advance ordinance number 3574 to second read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to advance the ordinance. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, ordinance 3574 is advanced to second reading. On second reading, we have ordinance 3572, an ordinance closing an alley right-of-way abutting properties located at 1101 and 1123 West University Avenue, 221 South Lincoln, and 206 South Monroe Streets. Councilors.
Motion to adopt ordinance 3572.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the ordinance. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, ordinance 3572 is now adopted. Item 8 is reports from the officers and the board. Ms. Carnley, anything else you'd like to tell us about?
Exactly.
I have nothing further to say.
Mr. Moore.
Yes, I've got a couple of quick announcements about summer activities here in the city. We have some fun learning opportunities and events for friends of all ages. If you can check out the Stillwater Public Library for information about their summer reading program, their summer cinema, and much more. Also, we have programming at the Senior Center for art, dancing, dance classes, guitar lessons, Zumba, card games, and many other great activities. For a list of all of our activities here at the City of Stillwater, you can go to our website, which is stillwaterok.gov, and there's a calendar that you can check out those activities. In addition, as you know, it is getting hot and humid in the City of Stillwater, and so a great way to cool off is at our splash pads. If you've driven down, I know I go down 12th Street often, and also around Boomer Lake Park where our other splash pads are, you can see that they're being very well utilized right now, which is awesome. So there's definitely room for more, so please come enjoy those splash pads. They're open daily from 10 to 8 p.m. And they are closed just during inclement weather and maintenance. And just a reminder, while you're out enjoying our parks, please remember to keep them clean by throwing away trash in the trash bins that are all around our parks. So we appreciate our parks group and the different amenities we have around the parks, and so let's go all enjoy them.
And no smoking.
And no smoking.
Vice Mayor Jaloski.
Yes. Now through the end of July, Stillwater residents impacted by the March wildfires can apply for financial assistance through the Stillwater Strong Relief Fund at unitedwaypaynecounty.org/Stillwater-strong. Because of the generosity of more than 1,500 donors, over $545,000 is available to support renters and homeowners who have been impacted. We also encourage everyone affected by the wildfires to apply for FEMA and SBA aid. The deadline for that is July 22nd. Many thanks to the leadership and hard work of the Stillwater Strong Task Force, United Way of Payne County, FEMA, SBA, Our Daily Bread, SASA, city staff, and emergency responders, and the many dedicated partners who have been part of the recovery efforts from March 2025 wildfires. This resiliency, compassion, and commitment to our community is what Stillwater Strong is all about. So just again, to reiterate, going back to unitedwaypaynecounty.org/Stillwater.strong, there's just a small survey that folks that have been impacted are being asked to submit so that we can understand now that FEMA has come in and SBA has come in, what those unmet needs are. We know that the folks that have donated from our community really want those dollars to go to those unmet needs, and this is a way for us to begin to identify that so that we can begin to distribute those funds.
It's great to hear. Thank you. Councilor Hawkins.
We invite the community to join us for the grand opening of our new fire station number 2 on Tuesday, July 22nd from 10 o'clock until 11:30 a.m. at 1701 Northwestern Road. Come explore the new station with guided tours and celebrate this exciting milestone made possible by the support of Stillwater voters in 2022. Together, let's sound the alarm that our new fire station is open and ready to help serve the community. We hope to see you there.
That is super exciting.
Very
Really
exciting.
exciting to see that project come to fruition. That's been a long time coming, and certainly appreciate the voter support for making that happen, so hopefully everybody shows up. Councilor Harden.
Back on the fire station, as I drive by there, they're working furiously trying to get that thing finished so we can have a grand opening. So please save the dates, July 16th through 20th for Crazy Days. This is Stillwater's annual largest community-wide retail event. From Lakeview Point and Pioneer Square shopping centers to the Strip, Campus Corner, downtown Stillwater, there are many shops offering sales for all ages. Some stores feature sidewalk sales, while others have indoor sale rack. Also, make sure to enter the Crazy Days Ring Registers Promotion Giveaway, that's a mouthful, throughout the entire month of July. For more information about ring registers and Crazy Days, please go to visitstillwater.org, as they are organizing both events. And I'll make a side comment there that a friend of mine used to own a store in Campus Corner. He always dreaded this coming up because he had to stand on the sidewalk and sell shoes for 3 days. He was so glad it was over, but he was so glad to clear out the inventory of the shop. So that's my side comment.
It's a great event and tons of great deals around town, so go shop. I will remind you to save the date and join us for the Block 34 dedication ceremony on Saturday, July 26th at 7 p.m. It's actually happening. Really exciting. This event's going to occur during Dancing Turtle, the first event in this vibrant new community space. Enjoy live entertainment, shared moments, and the energy of downtown as we officially kick off a new era for Stillwater. Block 34 has been a true team effort. We're ready to enjoy the Kicker Soundstage, the Simmons Bank Pavilion, and the many amenities included in the community space. Many thanks to the Irby family and Kicker, Simmons Bank, so many generous donors, city staff, engineers, architects, and the Stillwater Community Center Foundation, and many others who have turned this long-held dream into a reality. For more information about the dedication ceremony, other events coming soon, or to reserve areas at Block 34 for your event, go to stillwaterok.gov/block34.
Can't wait.
All right, anything further on this agenda? Councilors, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
A motion and a second to adjourn the Stillwater City Council meeting. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, the Stillwater City Council is now adjourned. And at this time, I will call to order the Stillwater Utilities Authority meeting for July 7th, 2025. Trustees, questions, comments, or action on the consent docket?
Motion to approve consent docket.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve consent. Please vote. Vote of 4 to 0, consent docket is approved. Takes us to resolutions, SUA 2025-3, a resolution amending the terms and conditions of service for municipal authorities by amending Section 1, General Information, Chapter 2, General Policies by amending Section 1.2.5, Denial of Service, adding Section 1.2.11, a unified bill, adding Section 1.2.12, Identity Theft Protection, amending Section 1, General Information, Chapter 3, Special Programs by amending Section 1.3.3, Utility Assistance Program, amending Section 2, Policy Manual for Utility Accounts, Billing and Collections, Chapter 4, Fraudulent Use of Utility Services by adding Section 2.4.7, Deceased Account Holder, and by amending Section 3, Definitions. This is a resolution of what we adopted at the council meeting. Comments, questions, or action?
Motion to adopt resolution SUA-2025-3.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution. Please vote. The vote of 4 to 0, that resolution is adopted. Any reports from the officers of the board?
None.
Is there a motion to adjourn the SUA?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Please vote. The vote of 4 to 0, the Stillwater Utilities Authority is now adjourned, and that concludes our meetings for this evening.